So I decided that I was going to look up some stuff on Q and what's been going on since, well, Q was brought up. The Q investigation. And what we have missed while everybody's been concentrating on Q. And I got a lot of stuff here. So Putin warns NATO against closer ties with Ukraine and Georgia. Now, I'm going to zoom in a little bit, but so y'all can pause it if y'all want to on each one of these. Okay. Then let's go to this one. Russia warns U.S. against meddling in presidential election. Zoom in. This is all the stuff. I dated this back to December 9th to now. And I've got a lot of stuff. And y'all can pause it. I'm not going to read all of this out. I have clips on the other side of the monitor that will make that is better than me just reading all this and wasting all y'all's time. If y'all want to, y'all can just pause it and read it. This is crazy. I didn't realize all this stuff was going on either. Americans are allowing Trump to turn U.S. into Russia. And this was dated, let's see, at 12/19/2017. I mean, this has all been going on while everybody's been paying attention to Q. And this was recently, of course, 1 hour ago, a couple hours ago now. Putin warns certain force in U.S. trying to undermine relationships with Russia. Y'all can, this is on CNN, so y'all can go look at it on CNN. Then Russia warns the U.S. and your games are at an end. The whole reason that I started looking this up was because I was watching while I was taking a piss earlier. I had my iPad in the bathroom and I hit the YouTube app, and it was when I don't use my iPad at all, and first thing that comes up, Patriot Soapbox, and I looked in the chat after I was done seeing what was going on. They were talking about places they were talking about Israel attacking people and happy about it. So I started looking at it. I was like, okay, what's been going on since Q's been around? It's nuts. Russia warns U.S. not to abandon Iran nuclear deal. And this was when? January 15th, 2018. Russia warns U.S. not to get involved in Iran. When was this? My eyes are hurting so bad. Was that just a picture taken then? It says Thursday, 4 January 2018. Let's see. Russia warns U.S. decision to arm Ukraine encouraged new bloodshed. And this was, I think, right December 23rd, 2017. This is when all the Russia investigation stuff has been going on. And this is stuff that, who reported this? Yahoo, which probably doesn't get a lot of the total. Here's one part I saw. The total defense package of $47 million includes the sale of 210 anti-tank missiles and 35 launchers. And we're wondering why all this stuff's going on. There's the same one. Okay, so I'll go over to my other monitor. And this just came out, I think. This came out in the last week. New Army Command aims to help counter China and Russia threats. The creation of a new Texas-based Army Command focus on the future will help the soldiers' service adapt to the emerging threats from powers such as China and Russia after years of I can't read that from here. Army warfare, Army leaders said Friday. The Army Chief of Staff told reporters the military recognizes that China and Russia have improved their military capability while the U.S. has been fighting insurgents. I can't read. In Iraq and Syria and elsewhere for the past 16 years or more. And then this is from the same article. I might be reading it out of order though. We are in the midst of change in the very character of war. Let's see. Modernize program in order to fight the current fight. No one was solely dedicated to looking into the deep future and determining the implications to the United States Army and the conduct of ground combat of this changing character of war that we're coming to grips with. Let's see. And this is just down in Texas. And then this one. This is all stuff that's been in the news since then. A bunch of stuff I didn't know about. I haven't been paying attention to the news, but the people that have been pulled into Q stuff, I'm sure that this is stuff that they would have been watching. Considering these circumstances, this is about Russian citizens that live in the United States being hunted by the United States for saying that they're stealing stuff, they're spies and everything like this. And this was it said 7 Russians were arrested or indicted in 2017 in the United States and abroad, compared to the average of 2 a year in the last 6 years. Russian Foreign Ministry has warned citizens who are traveling abroad that they could be arrested, extradited to the U.S. based on requests from the American Intelligence Agency, who are hunting for Russians. the Moscow Times reported Friday. The warning may be related retaliation for travel advisories issued by the United States State Department, which recommended that U.S. citizens should reconsider their planned trips to Russia, where they may be facing terrorism and harassment. So this is going into the Venezuela and Russia. Russia has Venezuela's back, and this is just graphs of the U.S. crude oil field production. 2015 was a big year, and I didn't know this because I didn't pay attention to it, and I've been watching the Florida Maki, and I didn't realize that even though we have all this production, in 2015 they signed over that U.S. base oil can be now shipped out and not have to give us any oil at all. And we could get our oil from Venezuela. And I think we are getting our oil from Venezuela, actually. Right now we are. Part of it, at least. Let's see. Russian citizens are facing with discriminatory treatment at the hands of Americans. Justice, the ministry statement says, adding that using various methods, including direct threats, and they are pressured to admit their guilt, despite the fictitiousness of the charges. When they refuse, they are given huge prison sentences. So, that I believe that other countries would do that. I wouldn't think that we would, but now that I'm starting to open my eyes. Let's see. So, I know that probably most of y'all have heard about what's going on in Venezuela, that they have no food down there and everything like that. Well, we just recently had crab meat that came here, and this is where I got this from Florida Marquis also. And they are shipping crab meat to the United States. But I thought Venezuela doesn't have any food there. Why are they shipping food here? They should be giving that to their citizens. It's weird. And this is about Citgo's Petroleum Corp, their CEO, not getting a visa, or I think it was a visa, to the United States. Being a blood relative of Hugo Chavez used to open doors. Now, Mr. Chavez, cousin of late Venezuela socialist leader, is finding out it can close some as well. So, let's see. See, this is the crap that I don't get. You're putting in there an army of 3,500 employees. That's the kind of stuff, if you're reading this, that they could say they should be putting a staff of 3,500 employees. Not an army. Yeah, according to the Russian Foreign Ministry, more than 40 Russian citizens have been arrested compliance with requests made by U.S. officials. 10 of them in 2017, including so-and-so accused of drug smuggling plot and accused of gun running for an armed group in Colombia. Colombia, you say? See, it is the visa for the Citgo. Citizens abroad, the U.S. is hunting for worldwide. This is more about the oil. Since late 2015, the drop in Venezuela oil production has exceeded 1 MPD. In part, offsets the surge in U.S. crude oil in the same period. Let's see. This is about when President Trump just talked to Putin. It was supposed to be about, supposedly, I don't know where they get all this crap from, that to try and get them to get out of Venezuela. Where they have been, Venezuela is, it's either Venezuela or Russia, has a factory. It might be Russia sending them down to Venezuela, or Venezuela's making them for Russia. But weapons. I think, yeah, it's Russia's making them for Venezuela. And they just took on their debt or something. Like, it was $3 billion, I think. Here it is. Colombia's president asked his American counterpart Donald Trump to urge Russia's leaders Vladimir Putin to stop supporting Venezuela's government. Man, everybody's taken to Twitter. Took to Twitter on Saturday to ask Trump to address Russia's support for the authoritarian government of Venezuela. And if you look into him, he was a bus driver before all this. The Venezuela president. I'm not saying that I like the guy, but it's just crazy to go after people like that. This is about Donald Trump's been trying to invade Venezuela. And this isn't just Donald Trump that's doing it. This has been happening for decades. Because they are sitting on is it the most oil? I think it's the most oil in the world. They're sitting on it. And it's just like with Iran. Iran oil is part of the country's revenue. And they get, I think in Venezuela it used to be free. Gas used to be free. And now they're having to pay for it. Trump repeatedly suggests Venezuela invasions stunned top aides reports. See? Colombia asked Trump to urge into Russia's support for Venezuela. This is all, and I only picked like the top couple. Venezuelans are starving, but the country still sends crude to Cuba. Iran sends representatives abroad to find a way out from looming sanctions. See, home to the world's largest oil reserves have seen its production slide by more than 1/3 since late 2015. 2015, you say? And they keep, I wonder how many sanctions they've had since 2015. And then I wanted to play, it's right here.
Bank account wrong or ever filled out a bank deposit wrong. They call it wire fraud under federal law. It's totally out of control. They went in there and they raided his lawyer. That's unconstitutional. And they got that. Nothing to do with Russia.
This was in April.
And they got his bank records. And now the globalists have got Trump by his huevos. Well, you know what the globalists told me? You better roll over. We're going to take your kids. The globalists told me we're going to kill you. The globalists told me we're going to sue you. You know what? They're a bunch of scum. I didn't roll over. And it's not because I'm the biggest, baddest guy in town. It's because I realize bowing down to scum like that's the death of me and my family.
You don't have to like Alex Jones to listen to him every once in a while. But thought I'd point some of this stuff out. It's creepy. But you'll have a good rest of the day. And I think I'm done for the day. I'm going to just play some video games here in a little bit. So, peace, stay positive, and try not to get yourself in stuck in a rabbit hole. Or go down a rabbit hole that starts with a letter, and it's only one letter. Peace.